your answers to the gentleman's question so that we can move through with the rest of the agenda that I have.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Representative Daly, I'll defer to you.
If I could just comment on that. So what you're saying is that you're going to give the members of the Appropriations Committee the opportunity to ask questions at the hearing to be called by Representative James on these issues?
I can't speak on that. I've asked Representative James to conduct hearings. Right now, I'm trying to keep an appropriation process moving, Mr. Daly.
Okay. Well, I just hope that the members have the opportunity to ask these questions. I think the people of Pennsylvania deserve to know the answers to them.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, are you saying that I have one more question?
No, I'm saying we will end with this question that you just asked, and the answer she would give, so I can move on to get.
Well, let me include a couple caveats then, for the benefit of the chairperson, so that she can answer everything directly.
Okay, and she has to keep her answer very short.
And she can certainly amend the answer in writing. She can certainly amend the answer in writing. Madam Chairwoman or Judge, I think the critical question that Pennsylvanians want to know is, when do the Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement make its referral based on perjury allegations against the Mount Airy applicant to the Pennsylvania State Police? When did the BIE notify the board that it had made such a referral? And did you proceed to issue a license to the Mount Airy applicant in light of the information that BIE had at its disposal? Because certainly the grand jury's presentment indicates that that was in the fall of '06. Furthermore, did the board do a financial suitability analysis of Mr. Barden, the Pittsburgh applicant, who has been reported had $11 million of personal gambling debts? And did you factor that into the determination of the issuance of that license?
Representative Riley, you and I have known each other a long time, and you have watched me as chairman of this committee. I've been more than fair. I think you're stretching it with the additional caveats that you are attempting to ask. So I'm asking you to allow her to answer that question and for me to get the rest of the members in to ask their questions. That's why I'm asking.
And Mr. Chairman, I respect you a great deal. I think you know that, and different than a court of law that the judge ruled upon, there would not be the closing down of certainly the direct line of questioning in the first opportunity. My last part will be, there was a meeting scheduled December 11th of '06 between, I believe, Mr. Donahue and the U.S. Attorney's Office, and that was canceled. And that's prior to your issuance of the DeNaples license. And can you explain to the legislature, in writing if you need to, why that meeting was canceled? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Sir, you've asked me many, many questions all around what I consider to be an issue that's not as complicated as it's made to be. The licensing process for Mount Airy occurred after our investigators presented to the board all the information that we had, and in addition, asked the state police, who had written letters of agreement with us, whether or not they had any information or whether or not there were any issues we should know about before the licensing. Now, that's been categorized as a rush to license. I beg to differ. It's not a rush to license. It was a request for information so that we could know whether, in fact, we were in a ready state to license. As a result of the information received from the state police, we believed we had everything necessary. Now, you'll notice if you read the letter from the state police that they indicated specifically that we had as much information as we needed. What's very troubling to me is that there was specifically outlined a federal court opinion by Judge Rebrano of the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, which empowered the state police to request of the U.S. Attorney the opportunity to provide to the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board relevant information should the judge determine that the best interests of the public would be served as a result of that. There was no request made by the Pennsylvania State Police to do that. There was a mechanism in place. So one of two things occurred. Either they believed that it was not relevant, or in fact they chose not to go through that avenue. What we are doing is considering a proposal to offer that will enhance the ability of the state police, of the gaming board to work together in the future such that we can have in place by statute, if possible, the similar procedure where a law enforcement agency can request the Attorney General to ask a judge of a competent jurisdiction to review the information, to weigh it, to see if that specific information should go to a regulator. That's something that I think would strengthen the Commonwealth's ability to review all information going forward. But I truly believe that what's troubling here is not how the Gaming Board acted, it's not how the state police acted per se, but it's really how this has been characterized as a misadventure in licensing, when in fact it was the Gaming Board's efforts that were expended to get as much information as possible, which were, for whatever reason, be it for good cause or not, were rebuked by the state police in this case.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Representative Reichley. Representative Scott Petrie.